Viewers, you're watching the hard facts from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Prime Time studios. Viewers, what a day it's been. The NDA and the India bloc, as you know, have been trading charges over who among them can best claim to speak for having defended constitutional values. Today, viewers, that battle has taken another turn. The Union Home Minister caught everyone by surprise by issuing a Gazette notification announcing that from now on, every year, June 25th will be marked as, quote, Samvidhan Hatya Diwas, unquote. The nomenclature is provocative to say the least, perhaps an attempt to jolt people into focusing hard on the events of June 25, 1975, when then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi took the draconian decision of imposing a state of emergency by invoking the Maintenance of Internal Security Act, or MISA, as it was called. Overnight, all civil liberties were curbed, dissent stamped out, and opposition leaders and civil rights activists were picked up from their homes and jailed. Even the media, viewers, was blacked out. But let me take you through the tone and tonality of this notification that was issued today by the Union Home Minister Amit Shah. It says that the gross abuse of power in 1975, people were subjected to excesses and atrocities. People of India have abiding faith in Constitution and Indian democracy, and therefore there must be a tribute to those who suffered and fought against the gross abuse of power. The day, which is going to be called Samvidhan Hatya Diwas, is aimed to recommit Indians to not support such gross abuse of power ever again in the future. No sooner had the Union Home Minister tweeted the decision, the Prime Minister took to X and welcomed the decision to, in his words, honor the sacrifices of those who had endured terrible excesses under the dictatorial Indira Gandhi regime. But no sooner had the Prime Minister expressed his support that the India bloc attacked the NDA for grandstanding. The Congress said that the BJP had, in its words, quote, imposed an undeclared emergency, unquote, and had no moral authority to pay homage to those who had been squished under the jackboot of the emergency. We will sample this. Let me first take you through what the Prime Minister said. The Prime Minister said this will remind countrymen of the conditions after the Constitution was crushed. This day is also to pay tribute to all those who suffered the extreme pain of emergency. The country will always remember this oppressive step of the Congress as a black chapter in Indian history. On the other hand, viewers, Jairam Ramesh, the Congress leader and the national spokesperson and the head of the media cell, said the non-biological Prime Minister is once again trying to make a headline full of hypocrisy. He had issued or imposed an undeclared emergency for 10 years before he suffered a decisive personal, political and moral defeat at the hands of the people of India on June 4, 2024, a day that will go down in history as Modi Mukti Diwas. Viewers, the Congress and its supporters will also point out that the party's most visible face has already admitted that the imposition of emergency was a mistake. Rahul Gandhi, in an interview to Kaushik Basu, an economist, said, and I quote him, what happened during that period was wrong, but it was fundamentally different from the current scenario, as the Congress at no point attempted to capture the country's institutional framework. I think that was a mistake. Absolutely, that was a mistake. And my grandmother, who is of course Indira Gandhi, said as much, unquote. Viewers, this is the Congress telling you that since Rahul Gandhi has already admitted this mistake, what is the big reason to go back and scratch at that open wound? Now, viewers, for those who may not be in the know, the emergency, which lasted just under 2 years, was riddled with excesses committed by the Indira Gandhi regime. The audacity with which the state acted would be considered unthinkable today. There was a complete suspension of fundamental rights, censorship of anti-government media, ban on movies, arrests for violation of press guidelines, rampant arrest of opposition leaders, forced mass sterilization for family planning also was undertaken. Forced clearance of slums without compensation was also undertaken, viewers. Many more in the opposition will oppose NDA's decision to mark June 25th, 1975 as Samvidhaan Hatya Diwas. They are all likely to call the move a cynical political ploy. But aren't the sacrifices of lakhs who endured forced incarceration, torture under emergency worth honoring? When several other nations can mark the end of dictatorship on their soil with an annual commemoration, why can't the world's biggest democracy, viewers? Here are some hard facts, and I always bring you the hard facts to put stories into perspective so that you can also cut through the rhetoric. These hard facts show that NDA's symbolically rich move today is not without precedent, viewers. South Africa, for example, marks September 15 as the anniversary of the day it transitioned from apartheid to democracy. Greece, viewers, marks October 28th as Ojai Day, as the nation refused to surrender to Hitler's draconian Axis forces in 1940. Philippines celebrates February 25th, or EDSA Revolution Anniversary, as the day it won freedom from the dreaded authoritarian Marcos regime. You will all remember the Marcos regime, viewers. Chile celebrates March 11 as the day of the quote, dignity of the victims of dictatorship, unquote, day, to mark freedom from the dreaded tyranny of the Pinochet regime, viewers. He was another horrible tyrant, viewers, who killed many thousands of people under his watch. Portugal, once again back to Europe, marks April 25th as the Freedom Day, when the dictatorship of Estado Novo regime was terminated, was ended. The move and the reaction, viewers, prompt several questions, and let's put them up on your screens. When half a dozen other nations and more can mark the end of dictatorship with an annual celebration, why can't the world's biggest democracy, viewers? Fundamental baseline question. Aren't the sacrifices of lakhs who endured forced incarceration, torture under emergency worth honoring? Third question, viewers. If the Congress is truly contrite about imposing emergency, shouldn't it demonstrate its regret by backing the Samvidhan Hatya Diwas? Maybe it can have a problem with the name, but in principle, viewers, why with the day? Can the Congress justify its charge that NDA's move reeks of hypocrisy? Viewers, there are some questions that we are going to ask tonight. And let's open this up. Let's go straight across to some of our guests. Let me first begin with Tehseen Poonawalla and Dr. Ranganathan. Let's take, and of course, Dr. Sumansi Raman. Let's take the perspective of these three individuals who have been long-time observers of politics. Tehseen Poonawalla, of course, speaks also for the Congress point of view. There's also R.P. Singh, the national spokesperson of the BJP. But I want to first begin with Tehseen Poonawalla. Mr. Poonawalla, what's the problem? There are, as I've said, and I'm just bringing out some of the more obvious ones. Half a dozen countries where the transition from dictatorship to democracy, or back again to democracy, from democracy to dictatorship to democracy, is celebrated as a joyous occasion. And there are elements of the political class that actually were the perpetrators who also have willfully supported this move. So what's the Congress's problem? We cannot in any way compare those 17, 18 months with anything that has ever, let me be very emphatic here, been reproduced in the manner and scope and scale in which it was. And therefore, I think if the Congress is truly contrite, what's the problem? Say, yes, we believe that that was a terrible imposition and we're ready to atone. And let me tell you, we should never repeat that mistake again. And therefore, let's commemorate this. Fine, you can have a problem with the nomenclature. Yes, it is provocative. I do agree with you. on that point. I know that you have got that point of view in the Congress too, but let's leave aside that. You can sort of come back to that and you can sort of, rattle the cages. But the principle of it.
Thank you, Rahul, for having me on the show. The principle of it is that, yes, we should speak up against emergency, declared or undeclared emergency. I do agree with it. But in the last 27 years, 16 years has been a BJP government, including 11 years of the most honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. He didn't think of this master stroke or Chanakya Niti at that point. He thought of it today morning. Why? Simply because his Russia visit has completely failed. He got nothing out of Russia. Nothing out of Russia. He's not been able to deliver on need. Agniveer is becoming a massive issue and he wants to divert attention. So here they come up with something else to divert attention. It's nothing but an attention diverting tactic. Because if it wasn't, this should have come out on 26th May 2014, the day he took oath as Prime Minister. But he's 11 years too late in it. So now that's point number one. Point number two, what was the emergency? The Congress, as you quoted, Rahul Gandhi has rightly said that the emergency was wrong. Rahul Gandhi said there was excesses. The Congress has repeatedly apologized for it. But what was the emergency? The emergency was taking away of Article 21, your right to life and liberty. Today, what is happening? Today, liberty is taken away at will by the government. In fact, the AG in court, in my judgment on right to privacy, defended a taking away of life in Supreme Court. That is what the emergency was, except that Indira ji followed a constitutional provision. Right or wrong, it was a constitutional provision. Today, when the media, in the words of L.K. Advani, has been asked not to bend, have decided to crawl over, and not just crawl over, except for journalists like you who actually have a spine, and I really respect you, they are actually licking the feet of the government. That is the state of a media, because night after night, Tehseen Punala's on TV, questioning Rahul Gandhi, not the Prime Minister. That's what the state. Now the question out here is, that all of it that has happened during the Congress's reign is wrong. But every night, the only answer that I get to questions that I raise is this is what Nehru ji did, this is what Indira ji did, this is what Rajiv ji did. Indira ji was a martyr for this country. She made a mistake, that's fine. The Prime Minister wants to be provocative, that's fine. But may the Prime Minister address the current issues of our country. Unemployment, Agniveer, NEET. Those are the only issues that matter, and he's running away from them.
Okay, so this is a plot to divert. But viewers, there are some people, I don't know where they have got this notion from, where they can rationalize the emergency by citing that it's in the provisions of the Constitution. Now, viewers, let me tell you. And before I bring in Dr. Ranganathan, R.P. Singh and Dr. Sumansi Raman, viewers, I've been examining this argument and it's been put out by another national spokesperson of another very popular political party. She was at one time a Congress spokesperson. And let me tell you, viewers, the original initially, the Constitution, viewers, and you must know this, only extended reservations to SC, STs for, and very, very crucial, viewers, to be elected to parliament and legislatures. And those were temporary reservations till 1960. Then, of course, viewers, there were amendments, as you know. So going by the original spirit of the Constitution, will any of these great politicians who today champion the cause of reservations say, yes, well, we should have done away with them in 1960 because the father of the nation who happened to be father of the Constitution who happened to be a Dalit, Dr. Ambedkar, had himself said that, look, they should only be limited to the legislatures, these seats, reservations, etc., until only 1960. But no, viewers, they won't. You know what they did? They extended reservations to everyone. And they also pullulated, viewers, the principles. So we have caste-based reservations which actually perpetuate caste rather than need-based reservations which world over, viewers, is the standard practice. In other chapters of the Constitution, viewers, directive principles of state policy, let me tell you, guess what? The UCC is something that is championed by the Constitution itself. Article 370 was supposed to be a temporary provision, viewers. The same Article 370 they oppose today. So look at the contradictions. Nonetheless, viewers, I don't know. I don't think we should look at that rationale to say, oh, Indira Gandhi, you see, viewers, only interpreted the Constitution. Because Dr. Ranganathan has written a brilliant piece some years back, if I'm not mistaken, about the emergency. and about one judge who stood up. And it was beautifully written. So, Dr. Ranganathan, please, let's get into this debate. Could you please tell Tehseen Poonawalla why invoking a certain stipulation in the Constitution is a bad idea tonight?
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Look, the day the emergency was declared on 25th June 1975 is from now on going to be commemorated as you said, Samvidhan Hatya Diwas, or Constitution's death anniversary. I'm sorry, but I object to it. I do. Because not just one day, but rather every single day under the Congress rule, be it at the state or at the center, marks Constitutional's death anniversary. You think I'm being bombastic and flippant? Perish the thought. Let me explain. When does Constitution die? Constitution dies when a citizen's freedom of speech and expression is brutally curtailed and stomped upon. And that is what Jawaharlal Nehru did through his first amendment to our Constitution, following which, under him, dozens of books and films were banned, historians and editors were jailed. So I propose Nehru's birth anniversary be marked as our Constitution's death anniversary. When does Constitution die? When the president and the judiciary is forced to curtail the fundamental rights of the citizen. And that is what Indira Gandhi did through the emergency, following which tens of thousands of Indians were jailed and killed and sterilized, and Constitution's body, soul and preamble altered with gay abandon. So I propose that Indira Gandhi's birth anniversary be marked as our Constitution's death anniversary. Rahul, when does Constitution die? When a Supreme Court's considered verdict is overturned with impunity, when the citizen's right to privacy is snatched away. And that is what Rajiv Gandhi did through the Postal Act and through overturning the Shah Bano judgment, ushering in an era of blatant appeasement. So I propose that Rajiv Gandhi's birth anniversary be marked as Constitution's death anniversary. When does Constitution die? When tens of thousands of activists are arrested and charged with sedition and called anti-national. When the Election Commission is severely compromised, which is what Sonia Gandhi did when under her proxy rule, 8,000 activists were charged with sedition in a single day. When Naveen Chawla, despite the Shah Commission charging him with committing atrocities during the emergency and deeming him unfit for office, was appointed as a chief election commissioner, ignoring the cries of the CEE that Chawla was spying for the Congress and passing on sensitive information to it. So I propose that Sonia Gandhi's birth anniversary be marked as Constitution's death anniversary. Finally, when does Constitution die? When the FCRA Act is retrospectively amended, rendering the High Court conviction of political parties like the BJP and the Congress toothless, which is what happened under Rahul Gandhi, when the High Court conviction of Congress was rendered useless through a parliamentary amendment supported and passed by the Congress. So I propose that Rahul Gandhi's birth anniversary be marked as Constitution's death anniversary. Rahul, just 10 seconds. Because of the policies and acts and amendments and laws enacted by Nehru Gandhi dynasty, Constitution died every day. It is therefore befitting that not just one day, but the birth anniversary of every Nehru Gandhi dynasty be marked as Constitution's death anniversary.
Can I just have one line? Can I just have one line?
One second. Let me bring in. One second. No. I'm not. We are not going to. We are not going to.
Modi was Prime Minister.
Gentlemen.
Refute me.
Gentlemen.
Refute me.
Gentlemen. These are all facts. These are all facts. These are all facts. You cannot run away from. No. You cannot run away from facts. And Dr. hang on, Dr. Ranganathan. Maybe you could have filled in more blanks by actually telling us all those days in which governments were expelled, mandates were crushed. You could also tell us in great elaborate detail all those days, viewers, when booths were captured. When booths were captured, viewers, you could also tell us all those days when rules were torn up and foreign secretaries sacked on the spot. You can also tell us all those days, viewers, and Dr. Ranganathan, when certain amendments were sought to be made to the Constitution, in fact, to bring in laws that would have continued to choke the media and its freedoms under the Congress. Viewers, look, we can all today laugh and giggle away and fritter away the time by suggesting that all of this is empty symbolism. But this is a very serious issue. And I want to bring in R.P. Singh. R.P. Singh, your job tonight will have to be to defend the great claim by the Congress that this is a move that reeks of hypocrisy, that there is some undeclared emergency in this country and that you have lost the moral authority to celebrate the Constitution. So could you please respond? Could you furnish answers, and then Dr. Raman will rebut you.
Rahul, it's shocking that two of the panelists were smirking on the way the Constitution was killed in this country over a period of time. And the way the Constitution was mocked in this country over a period of time, over a period of nearly decades now, starting from Jawaharlal Nehru to Mrs. Gandhi to Rajiv Gandhi to Sonia Gandhi to Rahul Gandhi. I came into public life because of Mrs. Gandhi, because there was emergency, and as a children we worked against the emergency, and then we could understand what's happening in the country. When 1 lakh people were jailed, 1 lakh people were jailed, out of which 10,000 were activists, political, social activists were jailed. And newspapers were curbed. I remember the blank paper, the blank editorial of Indian Express that time. It's still in the memory. When have you seen some blank editorial of any newspaper in the country now? There were no channels, there were no TV channels that time. But now, every night, Taseen or other friends of his come on TV debates, and they openly say what they have to say. To a certain extent, the other friends, they abuse the Prime Minister, they use foul language against the Prime Minister of the country. No one could have dared to do so in Indira Gandhi's time, or even for Rajiv Gandhi's time. I remember 1987, Indian Express was curbed, clamped. There was a strike which was manifested by Congress, and after some one and a half months, 45 days, when Express came out, the first banner which we wrote, "Good morning, Mr. Gandhi, we are back in spite of you." This was the state of the affair. Mr. Ranganathan just now mentioned about the postal bill, the way everyone's mail could have been tampered with, or everyone's mail could have been hacked. Mail, not the email. I mean, those times there were no emails. The postal mail could have been hacked and then could have been checked. This was the bill which was the bill which Rajiv Gandhi thought of. I mean, how can we forget that something which was approved by the Parliament, by the Cabinet, was torn outside in a press conference and thrown away?
You know, you're talking about the telegraph bill. I'm also talking about the defamation bill. Do you remember the defamation bill?
Yeah. I can quote Rahul. I'm quoting which I have suffered myself.
Okay.
For which I have fought in person.
I understand the history.
I'm the one
they
who
are
fought
saying, RP Singh, they are saying.
No, I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
I'm coming to that. Now let's build up parallel to today's scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, today everyone is free to do what they want to do. Courts give decision against the wish or against the mind of the government also. They give decisions, court gives decision. Even today, court gave a decision which was against the mind of the ED or the CBI. So court are free. Even that time, court couldn't have done this. I told you about the media every night on channels or otherwise, also in newspapers or on social media.
So you believe that
there
is no comparison?
Give me a second. Give me another second. To this extent, they wish death for Prime Minister Modi. They wish death for Prime Minister Modi openly, blatantly. But who could have dared this for Sonia Gandhi ji, or who could have dared this for Rahul Gandhi ji, or who could have dared this for Rajiv Gandhi ji? And I'm sorry, Taseen, I must tell this. Mrs. Gandhi was never a martyr. She died of what she sowed, what she did with 6. She did it because she planned to win elections, and she painted the most nationalist community of this country, the calm of this country, as black sheep or terrorists. And that led to her death.
RP Singh, let's not, look,
but
that was a terror attack.
No,
we cannot justify
he mentioned about it, that's why.
I'm sorry. Let's not go there, please.
I'm saying that it's bad.
Let's not go
wrong.
there.
It was wrong. I mean, I'm accepting.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not saying that it was wrong.
Yeah, good.
But saying that she was a martyr is also wrong.
No. Look, let's not, because, that's a slippery slope. And we have to be careful because we cannot allow for vigilantism in any sense of the term. People are wrong.
100%.
No, people,
I'm
CEOs,
with you on that.
no, CEOs
I'm
take,
100% with
no,
you
one
on that.
second. People
I'm the
take,
one who-
no,
I'm-
people
I'm the
take,
one who have taken stand.
people take wrong mistakes. They do mistakes in office. But that doesn't mean
Rahul,
that
you know it. Rahul, you know that.
One second.
No, Rahul, you know. Rahul, you
Look,
know. I'm the one who has. Who
RP
did a
Singh,
press
I know.
press
RP
conference
Singh,
in
but there were
Bhilwara.
also killings of Hindus in Punjab. Let's not try to, forget. Let's not cherry pick now. Let's move away from that. Dr. Raman, respond.
We'll have a debate. We'll have a separate debate on that.
Yeah, that we can have. That's a completely different topic. It's a different subject. Yes, you can accuse
I'm
the
sorry.
Congress party for doing nothing to get justice for those who were killed in 1984 on the back of the riots. But let's, doctor.
Is what he said the official position of the BJP, that Mrs. Gandhi was not a martyr, who did not die for the country? I just want to ask whether that is the official position of the BJP, is that Mrs. Indira Gandhi is not a martyr.
Dr. Raman, we've already clarified that issue. We have
No,
said
you have
that
not
we
clarified.
cannot.
I want him to answer that.
Okay, you
It's
please
not
respond.
For you, it's for him.
Yeah,
Mr.
please
RP
respond.
Singh,
RP
is that
Singh,
the official
quick
position
response.
of the BJP?
Dr.
that
Raman,
Mrs. Indira
Dr.
Gandhi
Raman,
did not
I'm
lay
prepared
down
to
her
debate
life
this
for the nation?
sometime with you, not in isolation.
No, sir.
Not in isolation. I'll ask Rahul on 31st October. On 31st October, we'll discuss this, and I'm prepared to take a stand on this, a clear stand on this.
No, but this is your individual stand. Is this your individual stand or is it a party stand?
Don't divert this.
No, RP Singh. No, RP Singh. Individual stand. Is this your individual stand? RP Singh. Is this your individual stand?
Or is it the stand of the party?
Rahul, because he said. Give me a second, sir. Rahul, he said, since he said she's a martyr because I suffered. My family suffered, my sisters suffered, my mother suffered. They were butchered, raped. Give me a second, Rahul. They were butchered, raped because of
viewers, look, first of all, I just want to make it very clear. We distance ourselves from this remark completely. This remark is not something that either the channel is going to underwrite. It is for the BJP now to respond to Dr. Sumansi Raman. Dr. Raman, how long will you pursue that question? Number one, will you give him 3 minutes? If he doesn't, will we move back to the debate at hand? Or will we continue?
To the debate.
Yeah.
I'm coming right to the debate.
You have all the right to ask that question and seek
Rahul,
that clarification. I agree with you.
The point is, Rahul,
Yeah.
the horse of the emergency
Yeah.
died long time ago. We are trying to flog it and using a bigger and bigger
but
whip
Dr.
to
Raman,
try and flog
Dr.
it.
Raman,
But that
look,
horse is dead.
No,
it is not.
Dr. Raman, it's
India,
not dead. It's not dead. It's not dead. It's not dead. Please,
yes, it is.
It's not dead. It is on a canter. No, please. It is on a canter in some states.
I don't understand why some people get.
Sir, in your own state. Look at your own state.
2 sentences.
Okay.
1 minute.
Yeah.
1 minute.
This
Let
is
me finish.
terrible.
The people who carried out or who imposed the emergency have themselves apologized for it. They have said it should never happen again. They have said it was a mistake. Now, the point really, Dr. Ranganathan, I did not interrupt you. Please don't. 1 minute. The second point is very simple. Most of today's India was not born then. And I've never heard of a day being named in a negative manner. So can we say January 30th will henceforth be called Mahatma Gandhi Hatya Diwas? Would you like to call it like that? How ridiculous is this? Naming something in a negative way, even if we want to draw attention to the emergency and all the lessons it taught us, the name should have a positive spin to it. Calling it a Hatya Diwas is very, very sad. I mean, I've not heard of days like this in any part of the world being called murder of days or killing of days or whatever. They will call it national reintegration day or something. Some positive.
Okay, so
spin
your issue is that the name is wrong. But I'm saying that the Congress is not even willing.
Are we okay?
No, one second, Dr. Raman. I began. You see, you're picking up on a point that I made. You're picking up on a point I made. You can fault it for being provocative, this, that, the other, but that's a different matter. I'm asking you simply this. The Congress party and other opposition parties are refusing to back the fact that we should be commemorating a day when the Constitution was basically thrown out of the window. Now, is that right on principle?
Pardon me, that emergency was an officially declared emergency. There have been emergencies since then which have not been officially declared. So I don't think that we should be looking only at what has been officially declared.
Look, where does the emergency, undeclared emergency begin and where does it end? Which border does it stop at, viewers? Because I can tell you that Dr. Raman is sitting in a state where he tweeted just a few days ago or yesterday or day before, criticizing the heavy-handedness of the state government.
Yes,
he himself did.
I'm not defending that.
So is that an undeclared emergency or not?
Yes. If there
it is. He says it is. So then, viewers, how is emergency dead? It might exist under the surface. It may not be labeled. It may not be conveniently labeled. But the mistakes are continuing. How do we show? How do we show? So how do we show contrition? How do we warn people in different parts of the country that they must not support this nonsense anymore?
By creating a system of checks and balances which are found
those exist, sir. Those exist. Those exist. Those exist. Those exist. All of them exist, sir. All of them exist.
No, they exist on paper.
How do they exist on paper? You've just had... Okay. You've just had a Lok Sabha election. Look, I don't want to speak over other people. You've just had a Lok Sabha election where we were told that the power of the people, in fact, because the electoral pitch has been so queered that the power of the people to express themselves has been snatched away from them for a variety of reasons. And look what happens, viewers. The people speak. They speak emphatically. The government that was looking for 400 seats ended up with 240. What are we saying? We are constantly abusing our own great democracy, viewers, and this is not acceptable. Dr. Ranganathan, yes, you want to respond to Dr. Raman.
With due respect, whatever Dr. Raman did, I hope I will not be interrupted. It's straight out of the copybook Congress playbook because they want the atrocities committed by them to be forgotten. Every time I land at Indira Gandhi International Airport, I remember that crimes can be forgotten and history can be airbrushed. And as for him talking about negativity, does he even know that January 27th is remembered as Holocaust Remembrance Day? That April 4th and April 27th are remembered as Rwandan Genocide Day, Armenian Genocide Day. It is because we hold these days important that future generations will remember the genocides. He wants people to forget emergency. That is his problem.
Oh my gosh. Is that the problem, Dr. Raman? You can
flog it as much as you want, Rahul. This is having zero impact.
No, you may be having zero impact on you, but not on the viewer. The viewer is seeing through the hypocrisy.
Most of India was not born at the time.
That doesn't matter. All the more reason. Most of India wasn't born when the British walked in here, sir.
This is a diversion, as Tehseen
What is a
rightly
diversion?
said. Things are not going very well.
Okay,
We need
if this was viewers,
it's a
viewers,
poor diversion.
viewers, this is
Not
the
even a
same
good
argument that was used. Balakot happened. It was a conspiracy. The attack on Pakistan was a diversion. And 2019, because things were not going well, there was rampant unemployment. There was this. There was that. Blah 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 blah. And therefore, Modi did all of this. Now today, viewers, after the election.
Should there be a Holocaust Remembrance Day because people who are remembering now weren't even born in 1945? Answer that, Sumant Raman. Should there be a Holocaust Remembrance Day?
Arey, yaar, please go ahead. Flog this. It's not going to get you zero mileage. Let me tell you that. The public have moved on. You guys haven't woken up from the election results.
Viewers, on the one hand, this whole cabal. On the one hand, this whole cabal keeps talking about the emergency, undeclared emergency. The suffix is always the word emergency. As if people, the unborn people that he is talking about, will suddenly connect to those events. I don't understand. This is bizarre. Anyhow, viewers, let me tell you.
He is against Holocaust remembrance. Shocking.
You know, let me tell you, viewers, in an undeclared emergency, or even a declared emergency under an authoritarian ruler, the outcomes of elections are pre-decided. Let me tell you this. Do you think Putin is shelling peas sitting in Moscow before an election. Viewers, he is shooting up his opponents, jailing them and ensuring that every Mandarin from top to bottom is ensuring his victory. What do you think they're doing in Pakistan? Those army generals, they don't have the guts to fight a war, viewers. They're fighting a war with their own people constantly, stuffing ballot boxes the whole day. That's what they do. Modi must be the worst dictator, that he brought his tally down from a presumed 400 to 240.
No, he didn't do it.
Oh, he didn't do it.
Take his tally up.
Oh,
He tried to take his tally
Oh,
up.
he took his tally up.
He tried to. He failed.
Viewers, they said that the EVMs are of the BJP. They said the EC is of the BJP. Both the EVM and the EC reneged against the BJP. Both of them are still there. They have not been destroyed. Can you believe it, viewers? Do you think we are all fools sitting here? Yes, Dr. Ranganath.
No, this is very disturbing, I have to say. I have great regard for Dr. Sumandraman. I just want him to answer just one question, yes and no. Do you think Holocaust Remembrance Day, we should remember the Holocaust, yes or no?
Certainly, you commemorate something, an event where 6 million people were believed to have been exterminated in gas chambers. So definitely that deserves to be
lakhs of people were killed, Constitution was trampled. You don't want to remember that day? You don't want to remember the forcible sterilization?
Which country
you don't want to remember?
Killed? Lakhs of people were killed in which country?
Imprisoned, killed, sterilized. Constitution was changed during the emergency. If your relative, God forbid, had been one of the sufferers, victims of
Please go ahead, commemorate it. I'm not objecting to you commemorating it. It will not have public traction and you guys
it's not about public traction, sir. We don't care about public traction. We care about the principle. We care about, I'm not a politician sitting here, neither is Dr. Ranganathan, neither are you, hopefully not, and neither is Tehseen. Maybe Tehseen wants to become a politician, but right now he isn't, and we can take heart from the fact that he still speaks for the public interest. So viewers, let me tell you this. Change the name, argue about the name, but don't throw that out with the bathwater of principles. Don't do that, viewers. Don't let them do that either. Because history can repeat itself if you forget it. And Dr. Ranganathan has said that many times in different contexts. I need to move on, viewers, because